You felt it, even if you couldn't explain it. A sensation that seemed to arise from within while also coming from a distant place, as if something greater were moving around you. The angels say, you were placed on this person's path to shine a light where everything seemed dark. This connection that unsettles you, and also warms you, didn't happen by chance. It was whispered in the heavens long before your eyes met here. You were chosen, not to fix anyone, but to reveal, to reflect a truth that has been silently hidden deep within this person's heart for too long. And no matter how, at times, it seems like nothing makes sense, there is a sacred mission being fulfilled in silence. This person looks at you and doesn't understand why. They don't grasp how you can touch them so deeply, even without saying a word. They try to rationalize it, tell themselves it's just a phase, just a coincidence. But the angels reveal that your presence has broken the cycle. It has shattered an old pattern. It has disrupted certainties. Because when a soul sent by God enters another's life, nothing remains the same. You were not sent to be understood right away. You were sent to awaken. And that's precisely why this person often distances themselves. Because what you awaken in them is greater than they are. It's as if by looking at you, they see everything they've tried to hide. The wounds, the fears, the unconfessed desires, the pain of the past that still screams in the present. Yet even when they try to walk away, a part of them begs to stay. You were placed there as a key, not for immediate happy endings, but for a process, for a blooming. You are the beginning of a journey that once started, cannot be ignored. The angels whisper, you did not come to save, you came to remind. Remember this soul for who she is, for what she can be, for how much love still exists within her, even after so long trying not to feel. That's why the silence between you speaks as well. That's why, even without messages, there are signs. Even without promises, there is recognition. Even without definition, there is presence. You are on this journey not because you did something wrong, but because your soul longed for truth. And the truth, at times, is unsettling before it becomes liberating. The truth is, you are a mission. You are healing. You are a living reminder of what love, when pure, can do. The truth is, you were sent. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. Have you ever felt that the problem wasn't you, yet still carried the guilt in silence? This person, for whom your heart beats with such intensity, carries walls that you didn't build, but that still prevent you from entering. The angels say, there are pains within her that you never caused, yet they affect you as if they were your own. She learned to hide, to contain, to control. From an early age, life taught her that love is dangerous, that trusting is exposing oneself too much, that surrendering is risking loss. And no matter how much her eyes tell you otherwise, there are fears inside that whisper louder than any feeling. You ignite something in her. But along with the light, you also ignite the shadows. So don't be alarmed by the distance, by the sudden coldness, by the prolonged silences. It's not rejection. It's protection. It's an old mechanism, almost automatic. A way to not feel what is already being felt. This person has learned to love with breaks, to desire with guilt, to want, and then flee right after. The angels reveal that, deep inside her, there are layers of sadness that have never been named. Open wounds that no one has seen. And when you arrived, with your strong yet welcoming presence, she didn't know what to do. Because you represent the kind of love that isn't begged for. You are the type of affection that can't be controlled, and that is frightening. You awaken what she has spent her life trying to hide. She retreats, not from a lack of feeling, but from an overflow of it. Because what she feels for you has already surpassed her comfort zone. And that is the heart of the conflict. Inside, she longs to run into your arms. But on the outside, she convinces herself that it's safer to keep her distance. The angels say, you are not her pain, but you are the mirror that shows her where it hurts. And that, my dear, is powerful, but also frightening. Because being a mirror means reflecting light, yes. But it also means revealing what has been hidden for years. You, unknowingly, are helping this soul to confront herself. And this confrontation is a part of the healing process. But healing hurts. So if she hesitates, don't take it as a lack of love. Take it as a process. A journey that is just beginning. You are being invited to see beyond the reactions. To feel with the eyes of the soul. To understand that behind the coldness, there is a heart trembling with fear, but that, deep down, desires to surrender. You are an invitation to courage. And even if there are still no answers, there is movement. There is a love under construction, even if in silence. Embrace that. Without haste. Without pressure. The angels continue to whisper, "She will still thank you for not leaving when fear spoke the loudest." You gave so much of yourself, that for a moment, you almost forgot about you. This is the most subtle trap of love, when by caring too much for the other, we leave our own soul starving. And that's where the angels whisper louder, "Return to yourself." Because there is no true delivery if you are not whole. There is no healing presence if, inside, you are fading away little by little. This connection, so strong, so mysterious, so intense, was not meant to empty you. It came to remind you of how capable you are of loving. But above all, of how much you deserve to be loved as well. The angels show that your light has been essential on this journey. You have built bridges, calmed storms, and provided shelter. But now it's time to be a shelter for yourself. Because there is a sacred detail you may have forgotten. The love that transforms another is born first in the one who loves. Be the embrace you seek. If that person is still in process, if they still pull back in the face of intensity, if they don't yet know how to receive everything you offer, that does not mean you should stop offering. It simply means you should start offering to yourself as well. And that is not selfishness. That is spiritual wisdom. The angels say, when you take care of yourself, you teach the other how to be loved. Nurture your energy. Protect your heart. Feed your essence. Don't wait for external recognition to validate the greatness of who you already are. You do not need to sacrifice yourself to prove that you love. You do not need to fade away to fit into someone else's world who is still learning to feel. You do not need to lose yourself for the other to find themselves. Listen again to your own breath. Honor your cycles once more. Relish in the small pleasures, a song that calms you, a warm bath in silence, a prayer made with closed eyes, just you and the sky. You are a temple. You are a seed. You are a garden. And even if this love is in the germination stage, you do not need to stop blooming because of it. Keep going. For yourself. The angels observe every step you take and smile when you choose to embrace yourself. They say, true love grows in the soil of self-care. And you are ready to blossom, even if he is still learning how to plant. Have you noticed how, beside you, he changes his tone? How his words become more measured, his gaze more restless, and the silence more loaded? This is not by chance. The angels say, your light is not just beauty, it's revelation. You don't just reflect what is beautiful. You reveal what has been hidden. What he buried so deep that he no longer knew how to name it. You've become a mirror without even trying. Simply by being who you are. Your way of loving, of listening, of looking without judgment, touches parts of him that no one else has reached. And by doing so, you ignite memories, pains, and forgotten desires. And that scares him. It's hard to see oneself as whole when they have spent so long as halves. You, without realizing, compel him to see himself. That's why he sometimes distances himself, as if fleeing from you means fleeing from what he feels. That's why he falls silent, as if silencing you could silence what his very heart screams. But the angels show that the process has already begun. That, even from afar, he feels you. That, even while fighting against it, he recognizes it. And even if he doesn't admit it, a part of him wants to come back, not just to you but to himself. Because you remind him of who he was before the defenses, the traumas, the masks. And that is the power of the mirror, not to transform the other, but to show that he can, yes, return to being whole. You did not come to fix him. You came to illuminate. And the light, my dear, is not always easily received by those who have lived too long in the dark. There is an ancestral wisdom in you, something he senses even without understanding. You see him with the eyes of the soul, and that disarms him. The angels whisper, you are the reflection of the healing he still fears but needs to find. He may deny it, withdraw, pretend he doesn't feel. But inside him, something has already been touched. And what is touched by the truth does not go back to sleep. Continue being that clean, true mirror. Not so he can fully recognize himself right now, but so that one day, he can look at himself with the same love you have always offered. And if it hurts to reflect the shadows, remember, it's in them that light finds space to be born. You are light, and mirror, and awakening. Even when everything seems confusing, your presence is already the answer. Something is changing. You can feel it. It's not just in the way he looks at you, nor in how he searches for you in the details of the day. It's more subtle. It's as if a gentle breeze has started to blow within his heart, sweeping away old fears and making room for something new. The angels say, his heart is beginning to understand what the soul has always known. After so much time denying, fleeing, pretending nothing significant was happening, he is starting to give in. And this giving in is not a complete surrender, not yet. But it's the beginning. A first step. A thread of light cutting through the darkness. You may notice this in the less heavy silences, in the more conscious touches, in the eyes that are returning, even if shyly, to search for you. He is waking up from a long emotional sleep. And awakening hurts. Because along with the feeling comes the truth. And the truth demands change. This connection with you, which he previously tried to rationalize, is now starting to take on shapes he can no longer ignore. It's as if his very body responds to the call of the soul, a restlessness in his gestures, a warmth in his chest, an emptiness when you pull away. He doesn't yet understand what he's feeling, but he knows it's real. The angels show that this is a sacred point in the journey, when the heart begins to pulse differently, even without the mind's permission. When something inside him says go, even when logic says stay. You were the breath that opened the windows. You were the outstretched hand when he only knew closures. You, with your calm and firm presence, are the ground where he begins to allow himself to walk without the old armor. Awakening can come in dreams, in sudden memories, in small gestures that take on huge meanings. And with each small awakening, something breaks, and something heals. The angels say, even if he can't express it yet, he already feels. And feeling is the beginning of all truth. You don't need to pressure or demand. You don't need to prove what is already pulsing. Love awakens from within when it finds space. And you have been that space, safe, sweet, deep. Don't doubt the strength of the seed you've planted. It is already breaking through the soil. And even if the flower isn't visible yet, life has already begun. Trust the process. The awakening is silent, but it is also irreversible. Why does he come back, and then leave again? Why do his eyes say so much, yet his actions say so little? You wonder in silence if it's a lack of love, or an excess of fear. And the angels answer, it's a heart at war between what it feels and what it knows how to handle. The truth is that there is a cycle. A dance between presence and absence, between courage and escape. He approaches, touches the ground of your affection, breathes deeply as if he wants to stay, but then pulls back, as if startled by his own desire to remain. You feel confused, hurt at times. But deep down, a part of you understands, he is not rejecting you. He is trying to survive his own emotions. This connection stirs him more than he would like to admit. And so when everything becomes too intense, he escapes. Not out of malice, but because he never learned how to stay where love is deep. The angels reveal that the cycle is neither punishment nor a game. It is a reflection of his internal struggles. Struggles that stem from afar, from old absences, from wounded loves, from promises made to his own heart that he would never fully surrender again. And then you arrived. With your steady presence, with your gentle listening, with your affection that doesn't demand but embraces. And he found himself facing what he's always wanted, but doesn't know how to hold on to. And so the back and forth. That's why the closeness is followed by silence. That's why the gestures that warm up soon cool down. The angels say, you are in front of a spirit in transition. And every transition has its breaks. He needs to test. He needs to step away to feel longing. He needs to leave to understand that there is no peace far from you. And this doesn't mean you should accept crumbs. Rather, it means you should understand that a bigger movement is happening. His soul is fighting against everything it has learned about love. It's unlearning fear. Little by little, it's allowing itself to feel. You are a presence that remains, even when he disappears. You are a living memory of everything his heart wants, but still fears he deserves. If he comes back, it's because something inside him recognizes the home that you are. If he leaves, it's because he still doesn't know how to dwell in this love. And that doesn't depend on you to heal. Only time, faith, and the soul itself know when the cycle breaks to finally become a path. The angels whisper, you are not losing him. He is finding himself within everything you've already awakened. You healed him without even knowing, just by existing. The angels say, your love does not scream. It transforms in silence. He didn't tell you, maybe he can't. But there were nights when the memory of your smile was what kept his soul from crumbling. You were an anchor when everything seemed to slip away. You were a refuge, even from a distance. Your love wasn't a superficial remedy, it was an invisible balm. While he struggled with his ghosts, you remained. Not as someone waiting, but as someone who supports, even without promises. You didn't ask for anything. And yet you gave everything, your light, your faith, your calm. That's why he comes back. No matter how much he runs, his heart recognizes where there is healing. He may have never been loved like this, without rush, without pressure, without conditions. And that, my dear, is a revolution. The love you offer does not invade. It warms. It wraps around. It gently touches the parts he has forgotten to feel. The angels show that, little by little, he is learning that it's possible to trust. That it's possible to love without losing yourself. That it's possible to give yourself and be embraced. You've opened paths within him that even time couldn't close. And even though he may not yet know how to reciprocate in the way you dream of, he feels. And for now, that's enough. You are healing the love inside him, not by doing, but by being. Keep going, even without immediate recognition. Because all love that heals first seems small. But later, it blooms where nothing else would bloom. The angels whisper, loving like you do is a miracle. And a miracle, even if invisible, leaves eternal marks. You've thought about giving up. You've looked up at the sky in silence and asked, until when? But it's in that silence that the angels answer you. Not with words, but with signs. With that song that plays out of the blue. With that dream that feels more real than the day. With that sensation that no matter how confusing everything is, there's a purpose. The angels say, you are not lost. You are being guided. Nothing on this path has been by chance. Not the meeting, not the timing, not the pauses. Everything is orchestrated with a delicacy that only heaven understands. This person, who made you feel so many things at once, didn't come to fill a void. They came to awaken you. To align you with who you already were but had forgotten. And even if the heart doesn't yet understand, your soul has already recognized. The ebb and flow, the uncertainties, the silences, all of this is part of a plan that doesn't reveal itself all at once. Because if it did, you might not have stayed. And it was necessary for you to stay. To feel. To learn to trust without control. You are not being tested. You are being led. Every step that seems futile is actually taking you deeper. Not towards the other, but into your own essence. This journey is about love, yes. But above all, it's about faith. Faith in the invisible. Faith in what you feel when you close your eyes. Faith that what is yours will never be lost, just prepared. The angels watch over you with tenderness. They know how much it has hurt. They know the nights you wanted to forget everything. And yet, you woke up with your heart still open. This is courage. And it is this courage that is paving the way. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. He sees you as a refuge, but he is afraid to enter. There's something within him that trembles at the thought of being seen completely. As if love were a dangerous mirror, where even the parts he has hidden from himself might surface. The angels say, he wants to surrender, but fear still cloaks him in silence. And you feel it. You feel when he approaches with tenderness in his eyes, but hesitates before a full embrace. You feel when he wants to say something, but chooses the longer, colder, safer path. It's not a lack of love. It's protection. He has learned that love hurts. That to love is to lose. That to love is to become too vulnerable in a world that teaches you to harden. And then when you appeared with that light that embraces, with that listening that does not judge, he realized the risk. The risk of truly loving. Because you don't offer a surface. You offer depth. And depth frightens anyone who has lived long on the edge. He wants to. He wants to be, he wants to stay, he wants to trust. But he still doesn't know how to handle the transparency of what he feels for you. Because loving you requires presence. And he is still learning to be whole. The angels show that he is on the threshold. A place where everything can crumble, or flourish. And in that space, any touch is sacred. Any word can be a bridge, or a barrier. You have been gentle with his shadows. And that is rare. You didn't try to tear down his defenses, you waited. And waiting, when it is filled with love, heals. The angels whisper, his delivery will come. Not like a storm, but like gentle rain that learns to trust the soil. You are already the ground. You are already home. Just continue being the space where he can learn for the first time that loving is not weakness, it's strength. And that being vulnerable is not falling, it's finally resting. Not everything needs to be resolved to be true. The angels say, the deepest love does not come from certainty, but from surrender. You've gone through so many phases with this person. The beginning filled with light. The pauses that hurt. The returns filled with silence and longing. And even without guarantees, you stayed. Not from a lack of options, but out of loyalty to your own truth. You loved with presence, with courage, with faith. And now, the sky asks for just one thing: accept. Accept that not all paths are straight. That some souls need to stumble to find their way. That there are bonds that strengthen precisely when they seem fragile. Accept that you've done what you could. That love does not depend on the other reciprocating now. It has already fulfilled its role simply by being offered with purity. Accept that there is beauty in the mystery. That some answers will not come in words, but in feelings that remain, even when everything changes. The angels show that something is closing within you, and it's not love. It's the effort to control what only time can touch. You are ready to let it flow. Ready to say, I trust. Because the right love does not need to be chased. It finds its way. It aligns. It returns when both are ready. And if it's not with this person, let it be with someone who recognizes the miracle that it is to love you. Who sees your surrender not as a threat, but as a blessing. You are not made to beg for affection. You are a temple of something divine. And the angels, with their wings surrounding you now, whisper, what is yours will never be lost. It's just getting ready to find you.